Welcome to Political Communication Analysis. So what I try to do in these videos is to take issues related to political communication every now and again, and then to analyze them or to discuss them. So the first issue we're going to be talking about is something that happened quite recently, a while back. The now famous or infamous handshake between the current president, Nana Akufo-Addo, and the former president, John Mahama. So the backdrop, it's a forum or a conference sort of. The current president comes in, exchanges handshakes with a couple of guests, a couple of people, happily, and then gets the former president, shakes his hand. But so many people had so many concerns about that handshake. And so it generated a lot of controversy, whether it was a real handshake or not, and what it meant. So let's analyze this video, because it looked like the handshake was very peripheral, and people were saying that it was as if there was no kind of cordiality between the current president and the former president. So let's discuss this from a political communication point of view. First of all, non-verbal communication is a major part of political communication. So there's verbal and non-verbal. But researchers have found that 85% of the communication that is sent out to people usually is non-verbal. So it means that non-verbal communication plays a very significant role in the way we communicate. And non-verbal communication is within the realms of signs, within the realms of symbols, gestures, and other non-verbal forms of communication. So this handshake is an example of that kind of non-verbal communication. And in doing the analysis, we'll use certain indicators to do the analysis. First of all, the posture, the eye contact, body movement, the facial expression, and the amount of time that was spent. Okay, so these are the indicators we'll be using. So let's start with the body movement. So first of all, the president comes in, he shakes the hands of a couple of people, he smiles, he exchanges some conversation with them. But when it gets to the former president, body movement, he does not even stand to shake him. He's sort of moving while shaking him at the same time. So he doesn't even stand. He's moving while shaking him. So that's one. He didn't dedicate so much attention to the former president. Now, facial expression. And this goes on both sides. So the current president does not have a smile. There's no warmth. And the former president is not smiling either. There's almost a slight frown. So facial expression is quite, neutral, quite bland. He's not smiling. So that's another thing. And so that's where people begin to read the meaning into it. Well, why is there no exchange? Because normally in greeting, even traditionally or culturally, or usually, when you're greeting somebody, you offer a smile, you shake, you offer a smile. Now, the eye contact. Because the president is moving as he's shaking the former president, he doesn't even have eye contact with the former president. He's looking sideways. So there's not that eye contact. But we all know that if you are greeting somebody, you shake, you make eye contact, you smile, and so that was also absent. Now in the posture, like I said, if the current president does not even stand so that we see if the posture was solid or he leans in or no, he does not even stand. So the former president tries a little bit, he actually leans in, but it's not a full lean, it's a very slight one. So there's a problem right there, because their postures or body language doesn't show friendliness or cordiality. So we look at that, and even the amount of time that was spent, very, very little time, very peripheral, and then he passes and he goes by. So if you put all this together, people look at it and they say that there is no warmth, there is no friendliness, there is no exchange of cordiality, and there's a whole lot of problems that people have with it. Why is that important? It is important because intrinsically, people take messages or cues from the kind of gestures and the kind of behaviors, non-verbal sometimes, that exist between our current president and the former president. a lot of their supporters will look at this and say, well, it looks like there's a lot of tension between the two gentlemen. And it kind of seeps into the political atmosphere. There's a lot of tension in the political atmosphere, and we all know what that tension could lead to. And so this is very important, that our leaders should be able to demonstrate a certain level of cordiality or warmth towards each other. It's part of the growth of political culture within our democracy. If we are growing as a democracy in this country, then we should be able to demonstrate some level of maturity or some level of cordiality despite political differences in our political setting. And so people look at this and say, well, why is this important? Why are we talking about these things? They are important because they send messages, they send cues, and they communicate a certain culture, a certain attitude, a certain ethos, a certain perception about how politics is conducted. In a democracy, though we disagree with each other, we should be able to conduct that disagreement within the context of politeness, within the context of civility, political civility. And that is why these things are very important as we seek to consolidate democracy in Ghana, as we seek to be the leaders of democracy in Africa. These are my views, and this is what I think. I don't know what you think. Share your views, share your thoughts. My name is Eche Sikanku. Thanks very much for listening.